Welcome back to the Baller of Fire channel. And so, yes, so basically, I just want to touch on some things. Now, normally I talk about British basketball, and that ranges from the British Basketball League, the ex British Basketball League, and the new basketball, the current basketball league, which is the Super League Basketball. I have released a video on Plymouth, so if you guys want to go watch that and check that out, please do. And you still got videos coming talking about transfers and all the players that have been coming in to the league. However, I'm not talking about British basketball today. I'm talking about two pivotal characters that has literally sent waves throughout the basketball world. That's Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. But one in particular, and that's Caitlin Clark. Now, I don't talk about Caitlin Clark as in Caitlin Clark herself. Caitlin Clark is a very, very professional athlete. The way how she handles herself, the way how she keeps to herself, and how humble she is, shows her professionalism on the courts and even off the court. What I don't understand is the media biased. What do I mean? Well, there is a WNBA champion. Her name is Sherelle Swoops, and basically, what she done has sent the media into a frenzy. Why is this? Well, if you don't know, Sherelle Swoops is very critical of Caitlin Clark and how she performs on a day-to-day basis in the WNBA. And because of that, a lot of people thought or think that she's overly critical. What happened was a fan reached out to Sherelle Swoops to say to her, hey, you're being a bit, overly critical of Caitlin Clark, and why are you doing this? Is it necessary to have all this hate? To find out that Sherelle Swoops sent a thread of tweets talking to Caitlin Clark, showing that they have a very amicable relationship. But the media picks up on these tweets and says that these leaks were there to incriminate Caitlin. How so? Because she wouldn't release incriminating tweets to a fan to prove to the fan that she cared about Caitlin. So why has the media spun this around on Sherelle Swoops to say Sherelle Swoops basically was trying to incriminate Caitlin? You see, this is the problem with the media today. Now, it's good that Caitlin has a lot of fans, but the fans are becoming more insidious. And this is no longer fandom. This is becoming who. Oh my gosh, I can't even say the word. But you know what I mean. When you have football fans in England, in America it's called soccer, or even old school NFL fans, right? People would fight you. Hooliganism, that's it. Yeah? That's what it's becoming. More and more fans are pushing towards that. Okay? It's becoming virtually ridiculous. And it's because of how the media is being very, very biased towards Caitlin Clark. And this is why reporting and media reporting should never be this biased. Okay? Caitlin's a professional. She's got a level head. She's not going to let it get to her or let it get to her head. She's going to come back on the court and do what she does day in and day out. Okay? But saying that, the fans are letting it get to their head. They're looking at Caitlin's success and riding Caitlin's coattails basically to the top. Now, I shouldn't just say fans. It's unfair because, let's be honest, the fans I'm talking about are the fans that just come into the picture. I'm not talking about the fans that's been there from day dot. And the fans that know that they've been there from day dot, I salute you. but it's going to be very hard to even get your voice or opinions heard, because some of the so-called fans that have actually joined feel their opinion matters more than yours. And this is because of how Caitlyn actually is one of the most amazing scorers that ever basically stepped foot into the WNBA. But saying that, she is open to criticism, and Sherelle Swoops has a right to criticize her, just like anybody has a right to criticize anyone. You could be a homeless man, and you have the right to criticize an athlete. It isn't anybody's right to see what they believe that somebody's doing wrong or ineffectively, whatever. Anybody has the right to criticize someone. So, looking at Caitlyn, she she is open to criticism. It's the same way, and we look at Angel Reese, how Angel Reese gets treated in the media. They take her words, they twist it, they turn her into a villain. Now, mind you, she was unprepared by what they would do to her and how the media would make her into a villain. They have made her into a villain, but this is more than being a villain. They have literally turned the media against Angel Reese, and to the point where her success is being overlooked. She has made 405 rebounds. Nobody else has ever done that within 20 years of the WNBA. It literally gets completely overshadowed. Now, people don't understand defense is basically what wins you championships. Okay, this is why Dennis Rodman was added to the Chicago Bulls. Okay, to help win that championship. Yeah, so it does help you win championships, but the defense that Angel Reese gives out is overlooked because of the situation with Caitlin Clark. Now, that's a problem, because imagine the rest of the WNBA stars who want their fair share of light, they're getting overlooked because of Caitlin Clark. All right, Caitlin Clark. People say that Caitlin Clark is the reason why any of us are checking out the WNBA. Nope. Caitlin Clark is one of the many reasons. There is Angel Reese is another reason. Because of their rivalry at college, most of us have joined on to look at how they will blossom into future star athletes. Yes, both of them would have championships each. I will see Angel Reese with, I think, a couple championships, and I'll see Caitlin Clark with a couple championships for both of them, and that's in their future. However, we got to get this media thing in, like, we got to get it, because, like, it's seriously bad. And it's not just when it happens to the women's basketball, this also happens in the men's basketball. The way how media is covered for the men and the women has to change. It has to change. We cannot have this biased media just because you're a fan, or you may think it doesn't matter. It's dangerous, literally dangerous. If you don't know about I can't say the word again, sorry, but if you don't know about football, forgive me, if you don't know about that, all right, we just call them goons. If you don't know about what these football fans would do, okay, this is the UK. Soccer fans, if in the US, but in the UK we call it football. Back in the days, I'm talking about the early 2000s and the 90s. Sometimes it still happens today, but not as a lot. The police and lots of think tanks have basically reduced the number of hooliganism down, so it doesn't really happen as much as it used to. But back in the early 2000s and in the 90s, this was prevalent. Many families couldn't even go watch a football match back in the days because of fans being so invested into the team that you would literally see them line up outside stadiums to fight the opposing fans. And when I mean fight, I mean throwing bottles, chains, knives, flares, these kind of things at each other, to actually break blood. We mean real fights, and families get caught up in between that. These fights can obviously lead to death as well. So you don't want that kind of atmosphere. Now people will say, yes, it's just passion. Yes, if you look at Europe's basketball, like European EuroLeague basketball, many of the teams in EuroLeague basketball have fans that are very passionate. But passionate and being passionate should not equal hooliganism. It shouldn't. Just shouldn't equal that. You know, it's too. You can be passionate about something and not be so passionate that you want to beat the shit out of someone. And this is where it's going. The only reason why it's going like that with Caitlin Clark, Caitlin herself hasn't said anything. Caitlin doesn't invite these kind of things to happen. She doesn't invite it. She just literally focuses on her task at hand. So a lot of people know, and I'm talking about media, know that Caitlin's name carries weight. They know that she's going to be a star, and just like Angel Reese's name carries weight, they know that these two players. Now, somebody else is coming up from the ground, which is Cardosa, and another player. I forgot the name, but there's other players that are starting to come through as well. They're going to see their names be brought into media a lot more, and I hope they're going to be ready for what's going to happen, because media uses their names and uses titles which is persuasive. Okay, it's persuasive. It makes it seem like Sherelle Swoops was trying to incriminate Caitlin Clark, when in reality, she was basically trying to tell the fan that she doesn't have any hatred towards Caitlin. That she basically is just trying to be professional and just being critical of Caitlin Clark. That's what she was trying to say. But the media has twisted it around to get thousands and thousands of clicks and millions of clicks. I mean, think about it. I'm talking about this, I'm international. You know, I'm not in the US. Okay, and each state is basically the size of a country. Okay, so we're talking about it crossing from state to state, all the way through Canada, into the UK. You know, it's probably gone into Europe by now. You know, it's all over the place. So imagine how much views these media companies are getting, how much attention these media companies are getting. Okay, they're making a ton, a fortune of basically these stories, these persuasive stories, and they're doing it off of Caitlin Clark's name and success. It's terrible. Everybody has the right to be critical. Okay, Caitlin Clark was shut the haters up when she was the championship. Angel Reese was shut the haters up when she was the championship. Okay, criticism is good for basketball, but the way how the media's treating it is like nobody can criticize Caitlin. That's not how it's supposed to be. Okay, you know, nobody wants a kiss ass, as they would say. But yeah, that's my take on it. So if you guys want to talk more about NBA and WNBA, I can. I also want to focus. I don't really know too much about European basketball, and as a British basketball fan, I'm going to look more into it, and I would suggest any fans who's from Britain to look more into European games and European teams. I know about Real Madrid and Barcelona have basketball teams, but I didn't know Real Madrid, as well as being one of the most decorated football clubs, they are also one of the most decorated basketball clubs, which is amazing to me. So I'm going to look more into that as well. Anyway, that's my take on the whole situation with the media. And it's not about Caitlin, it's not about Angel. It's about the media and how they change things to basically use people, manipulate situations that people actually go out there, click on their news stories, watch their videos and watch their TV channels to find out the new takes and find the new angle that they're going to spin and talk about this. And then you see YouTubers actually get on the trend, and they actually, I don't know if they're doing it, because sometimes, guys, you can be persuaded in a way of thinking. Okay, this is what the news do, and it's how they're very good at it. You can be persuaded in a way of thinking without all the facts. You see? And so you can be persuaded in a way of thinking that, hold on a second, this person is a bad person because so and so and so said this, this, and this, and so she must, you know. And then you see somebody else say it and say it and say. So you can be persuaded in a way of thinking, and then you come with your video to say the same thing, regurgitate, and you get clicks, you get views, you get numbers, you get money up. But then what you're doing is you're creating a thought and a way of thinking that many fans will pick up. And so then when anybody criticizes Caitlyn, they'll get aggressive response. Okay, so we need to start looking at how media is doing things. It's a bit, not just a bit, it's very biased. So yeah, so we need to stop with that. We need to really look at it. It did Sherelle Swoops do a bad thing when she released the images to the fan? Yes and no. She released it to prove a point, but she should have realized that the fans do not care about a point being proven. Okay, they don't care about the fact that she's talking about how she cares about Caitlyn. They don't care about that. They just want to prove their point, okay, and their angle. And this is what the news stories are going to pick up. The news stories know this very well, but they don't care about any of that. They care about making money. And so when they come online and they see a story like that, they're going to take that story and they're going to run with it until it dies down. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Until next time, peace.